Hello people, another beautiful day or night. Hope your five senses work, health and strength is good or excellent. What? Alright, what's up Steam Deck fans? Look, what's up ASUS fans? Listen to this. ROG Ally Z1 with Radeon 7040M iGPU test against the Steam Deck in compute benchmark. 4 RDNA 3 CUS compute units versus 8 RDNA 2 compute units fight. Says here, recently the folks over at Chip and Cheese put the ASUS ROG Ally Z1 up against the Steam Deck in a variety of GPU compute benchmarks, following a similar run of CPU benchmarking for two entry-level PC handheld. Chip and Cheese used names Vulkan benchmark suit for this testing, since their own OpenCL test won't run on the Steam Deck iGPU. And then it says below we break down the test run by Chip and Cheese in a list, including an explanation of what each test is actually measuring before discussing their results. For more details, look at their benchmarking finds, particularly their proper charts. Consider the original piece. Just be aware that their charts are also quite tall and full of many sub-results. And it says here, Vulkan floating point compute throughput, one of the most common operation used in games. Vulkan integer compute throughput, simply common and floating point operation, but proper integer compute still matters in games as well as in AI workload. And then it says Vulkan vector cache memory latency. The lowest level of cache on an RDNA GPU is vector cache. Vulkan scalar cache and memory latency. AMD GPU, since GCN have used a separate scalar memory path with better latency optimization than vector cache. And then it says Vulkan cache and memory bandwidth, both systems are using a configuration requiring shader memory with the GPU. Thus this pertains to RAM using not the GPU die necessarily. Memory bandwidth to compute ratio, the metrics is somewhat self-explanatory, though its relevance is isolation is questionable. More on this once a bit. And then CPU to GPU link bandwidth, this metric also somewhat self-explanatory and show quite similar results unit due to the SoC system on a chip and APU auxiliary processing unit. Okay, and it says here, how does the Z1 ROG Ally compare to the Steam Deck? In the Vulkan throughput testing, Z1 ROG Ally trade blows with the deck dependent on workload. The new iGPU architecture nets a lead in some areas like frames per second 32 and the NIT64 operation, but the deck remains competitive and in some tests outright wins due to having more compute units on hand. The Steam Deck is no pushover. Says here in the Vulkan cache and memory testing, Z1 ROG Ally consistently offers lower latency than the Steam Deck. With cache and memory bandwidth testing, Z1 ROG Ally remains the lead. And then it says here, things get a little more complicated with the memory bandwidth to compute ratio testing, since it's more about architectural efficiency than raw performance. The Radeon 7040M iGPU manage a 0.3 memory bandwidth to compute ratio, while the full flat RX 6900 XT desktop GPU manage 0.032. Obviously, these devices are otherwise not directly comparable. More on that in the original piece. It says here, finally, in assessing the CPU and GPU link bandwidth across 6 tests, the ROG Ally Z1 wins 3 out of 6 tests. The test results are generally pretty close, even with the Z1 Extreme Ally, which makes sense as they're all using a unified CPU plus GPU design. Then it says here, in terms of raw gaming performance, touch upon at the end, the ROG Ally Z1 presents mixed feelings. The high iGPU clock makes it surprisingly comparable to the deck. But then it says in parentheses, particularly when at 30 watts. But the release of the deck OLED after the Ally Z1 makes it a far more questionable choice, and the deck still has a better overall performance. The Steam Deck is no pushover. Try to tell you people. It says here, the common wisdom for the handheld PC gaming purpose at this point is that the Steam Deck LCD or Steam Deck OLED are your best bet for an entry-level experience. The ROG Ally Z1 Extreme performs quite similar to these units when on battery, only gets its big performance win when plugged into a wall, as seen in one of our benchmark of the Ally Z1 Extreme versus the Steam Deck below. And then it shows in red, ROG is beating the Steam Deck 40 to 26, and then this is with Cyberpunk Steam Deck preset measured in frames per second. See, ROG Ally beats the Steam Deck 40 to 26, but then ROG Ally beats when it's plugged into turbo mode. The ROG Ally beats the Steam Deck 55 to 35, but then Steam Deck now has a 37. Yeah, the Steam Deck is no pushover. It says, thus, if you want to go with the Asus ROG, if you want to go with Asus Ally for some extra performance, save up the extra 100 for the Z1 Extreme is the better use of your money. But here's where the Steam Deck comes in. It says, and these results from Chip and Cheese further reinforce just how suboptimal the non-extreme Ally is, as it loses to the deck in gaming performance. We couldn't find a game the Steam Deck couldn't run. Yeah, Gabe Newell is a fool for that comment, boy. Yeah, the Steam Deck is no pushover. That handheld packs a punch, man. It's no pushover. Yeah. Anyway, we got 3 comments here. See what they talking about. That's one of the comments. Someone says, since the Z1 Ally is even weaker than that, well, you'll get the idea. It performs significantly worse than the deck in real-world gaming scenarios, especially in handheld. The main thing we see from these benches is that the new RDNA 3 architecture is more efficient in some way, even while cut down to this extent. But unfortunately, the Z1 Ally is too cut down to meaningfully compete with the deck in raw FPS, unless your performance needs are lower and you really want a ASUS PCIe X8 eGPU connector. Then he says, yeah, I figure as much. He said, yeah, I figure as much from said SoC system on a chip in use that have been fully benched. Clearly, 1080p is still too much even for the Z1 Extreme. And he says, IMOH to aim for in mobile 720-800 pixels seems to be the sweet spot for the decent FPS. I hope this new chip would at least compete at 720 or 800 pixels, but I also knew my hopes were likely lofty thanks to the chiming in, though it is always appreciated to get more input from other users on Tom's. Have a great day, man. I look forward to your future articles. Let me see if I got some, so I got another comment here. See if I can get some more. Oh yeah, they were going in on this one. Let's see. Somebody said, what he said, the Steam Deck custom RDNA 2 iGPU is put to the test against the lesser ROG Ally Z1 RDNA 3 iGPU compute bench to see how they stack. And someone said, very close. I hope that translates to FPS as well. If so, that shows what huge progress AMD has made with their newer architecture. I will be eagerly awaiting gaming benches. And someone says here, let's see if I read this one. Someone says here, very close. I hope to translate the FPS as well. If so, shows what huge progress AMD has made with their newer architecture. I will be eagerly awaiting gaming benches. Right here. I regret to inform you, it does not. The original Z1 Extreme Ally, which is on paper considerably more powerful than the deck, can only achieve meaningful higher FPS when plugged into a wall. On battery, Z1 Extreme and deck perform very close, as shown in the bench I shared at the end of this one. Since the Z1 Ally is even weaker than that, well, you get the idea. It performs significantly worse than the deck in real-world gaming scenario, especially in handheld. The main thing we see from the bench is that the newer RDNA 3 architecture is more efficient in some ways, even while cut down to this extent. But unfortunately, the Z1 Ally is too cut down to meaningfully compete with the deck in raw FPS. Unless your performance needs are lower and you really want ASUS PCIe X8 eGPU connector. And someone else here says, right, I regret to inform you, it does. The original Z1, I'm reading all the comments, the original Z1 Ally, which is on paper considerably more powerful than the deck, can only achieve meaningful higher FPS when plugged into a wall on battery. The Z1 Extreme and deck perform very close. Then you respond, yeah, I figure as he said, I think I read this one. Yeah, but seriously though, the Steam Deck is no pushover. It is no pushover, man. This little handheld is that Steam Deck it's packing some power, man. it's no pushover, man. I mean, ASUS came with some power, but Steam Deck can hold its own, you know. And I would even put the Steam Deck up against the Lenovo. You know? The handheld is just that good. So yeah, I mean, all three of them are good. But Valve did let the competition know we couldn't find it. And based on these benchmarks and testing that's happening, it's showing, you know. So yeah. Sorry, ASUS fans. I know you didn't want to hear this, but I had to let you know. Anyway, but other than that, man, yeah. I mean, the Z1 got some good news in some areas. You know, 3 out of 6. But yeah, but when it comes to gaming though, the Steam Deck is like, yeah, it's a force to be reckoned with, man. So yeah. But other than that, man, you know, good little article from Tom's Hardware. You know, keep us computer nerds up to speed. You know, on what's going on between the two. You know, I mean, they're both good handhelds. One's Windows, one's Linux. They just got their advantages and disadvantage. And like the article says, if you want to if I can get to this, what the article here says, if you want to go with ASUS Ally for some extra performance, save up the extra 100 for the Z1 Extreme is the better use of your money. Yeah. Deck is it's not no pushover. That's for sure. So yeah, 4 RDNA compute, no, 4 RDNA 3 compute units versus 8 RDNA 2 compute units fight. Yeah. So Steam Deck is no pushover, man. And then Valve had the audacity and the nerve to add the OLED with the HDR SDR feature. Yeah. Yeah, that whole OLED is no joke, man. So yeah. It can go up against any one of these handhelds, you know. Yep. But yeah, that's my little thoughts on the whole thing, though. This little these benchmarks are good, you know. These benchmarks are good because it shows, you know, how far handhelds have come, you know, how far they have come, you know, and the sky's the limit with these handhelds. I mean, they're that good. So yeah, when Valve said we couldn't find a game the Steam Deck couldn't run, that statement that statement is powerful, man. Hardcore gamers like myself and others was like, what? Okay, prove it. Valve is like, okay, we're gonna show you, and they did. And here comes Asus, and here comes Lenovo. Like, you know, yeah, these handhelds, man, they're worth it though. They're worth it. I will say it. They're worth it. Whether it's the ROG, the Lenovo, the Oxo, Logitech, the Neo, 1X, GPD, the Odin, they're worth it, man. Yeah. These, you know, and the thing about some of these handhelds too, like I tell you, some of them are some handhelds can handle both Windows and Linux, and some are just Windows based. So whenever Microsoft or Linux come out with an update, they all benefit from it. Oh yeah. And then both Windows and Linux handhelds got that 80,000 plus Steam library to deal with. We're talking video games here, so yeah. These handhelds are worth it, man. So yeah, worth it. Glad I got myself one though. That's for sure. But yeah, they're fun to play on too. You know? They keep. I mean that's a statement. We couldn't find it, huh? What? Okay, prove it. Okay, we'll show you that we meant what we said. And they did. Yeah. The only issue was the Steam Deck was having is when a certain developer want to take shots at Linux. Like, who was that? Like, Epic, Tim Sweeney and Epic Game, and, who was that? Bungie. You know, so, yeah. Other than that, man, yeah, worth it, man. Definitely worth it. That's for sure. But these handhelds, man, they're carrying their own weight. They got their own features and their own you know, design and everything. Then you have the you got the MSI Claw that's coming from Intel, and then the Orange Pi. So, oh yeah, these handhelds, they're good. Oh yeah. But for every person that got one of these handhelds, they're having fun with it. Believe me, they're having fun, man. While I'm sitting here making this video, they're online playing. Anyway, yeah, playing different games. Yeah. So these handhelds are, oh yeah, no more. Man, I wish we had a handheld. I wish we had a handheld that can run today's games. Those days are gone. Yeah, Valve answered the call. That's for sure. Valve answered the call, and the competitors, like the Steam Deck is pushing who? It has what on it? Okay, we're gonna try to match it, or even come out with, or do something even more better. So yeah, that's their approach. So yeah, these handhelds, they're good, man. And of course, the spring sale is coming up. So yeah, get your nickels, dimes, and quarters ready for that one. And $1 bills. So yeah, but other than that, man, these gaming on these portable gaming PCs, they're really good. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. Or Dark Side. Go. Peace.